Solving a literal equation for a variable. A literal equation is an equation with two or more variables. Formulas are examples of literal equations. So what that tells you is that all formulas are literal equations, but not all literal equations are formulas. So here's a formula that you're familiar with, the area of a rectangle. This formula is solved for A. A equals area equals length times width. So here we want to solve this formula for W instead of A. This is exactly like solving any equation for a variable. Your goal is still the same, to get the variable alone on one side of the equal sign. And in this case, the variable that we're referring to is the W. So look at W. You are multiplying it by L. So the opposite of multiplying by L is dividing by L. Whatever you do to one side, you do it to the other side. So area over length equals W. So let's take the same formula, area of a rectangle, area equals length times width, and this time we'll solve it for L, length. So again, think about what you're doing to L. You're multiplying it by W. So the opposite is to divide by W. Do it to both sides. Area over W equals length. Another formula, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Slope-intercept form is solved for y equals. This time, let's go ahead and solve it for b. Okay, so we want to get b by itself. So think about what we're doing to b. We are adding mx. So the opposite of adding mx is to subtract mx on both sides. So y minus mx equals b. Perimeter of a rectangle. P equals 2L plus 2W. Again, this formula is being solved for P. We want to solve it for W. So let's think about what we're doing to W. We're multiplying by 2 and adding 2L. So we're going to get rid of adding 2L first by subtracting 2L on both sides. So P minus 2L equals 2W. Divide both sides by 2. Now, when we divide the left side by 2, there's two ways to do this. The first way is if we just divide like the entire left side and leave it as P minus 2L over 2 equals W. Depending on your teacher, that could be an acceptable answer. However, it's not fully simplified. So let me start back at this step. And to divide both sides by 2, I'm going to divide each one of these terms by 2. So this will fully simplify our answer and leave us P over 2 minus 2 over 2 is 1. So that'll just be L equals W. All of the examples we have done so far have been formulas. Remember, all formulas are literal equations, but not all literal equations are formulas. And here is an example of a literal equation that is not a formula. C minus 5a equals negative 2a plus 3.5. We want to solve for C. So we want to get C by itself. We're subtracting 5a, so the opposite is to add 5a to both sides. And when I add 5a to the right, I want to line it up with the like terms. So I need to line it up with the negative 2a. So C equals 3a plus 3.5.